Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to start our topic of exchange rate. We all know exchange rate means the value of one currency in terms of another, or you can say the value of foreign currency in terms of local currency. How many units of local currency are required to exchange 1 unit of foreign currency? This is called the exchange rate. So it is the value of foreign currency in terms of local currency. Foreign currency in terms of local currency. That means how many units of local currency are required to exchange 1 unit of foreign currency. For example, $1 equivalent to rupees 160. Okay, this is our exchange rate, that today $1 will be exchanged with 160 rupees. So the question is, why is there need for exchange rate in international trade? The reason behind the using of exchange rate is that our local currency is only acceptable within our domestic market. Whatever we are going to buy the goods and services, we can make the payment in terms of rupees. That's why they are accepted by the sellers, and they are also accepted by the workers as a reward for their services to the firms to produce output. So all factors of production, they are accepting their rewards in terms of local currency. But whenever we are involved in international trade, suppose we are going to buy something from USA, do you think they will be accepting the payment in terms of rupees? Not at all. They will be accepting the payment in terms of their own currency. So we need to have dollars in order to buy the goods from USA. Or if we want to buy goods from England, then we have to make payment in terms of pound sterling. Or we are going to buy from any of the European country where they are using euro as their currency for all the European region, then we need to make payment in terms of euros, because they want to accept their payment in terms of their own currency. Therefore, in international trade, along with the goods and services, the two currencies are also being exchanged. Whenever we are trading in international market, to what is happening, we are not only exchanging the goods, but we are also exchanging the currencies as well. That's why there is need for exchange rate in international trade, and it is not required in case of our domestic trade or in home trade where local currency is acceptable. Now come towards what are the different types of exchange rate. One is called fixed exchange rate. Fixed exchange rate, and second one is called free floating exchange rate. Free floating exchange rate. And third one is called managed exchange rate. Alright. So fixed exchange rate means this is like we go to a fixed price shop where prices are fixed by the sellers, and he is maintaining the stock of the goods where he has kept the prices fixed for the products. So in case of fixed exchange rate, this is usually adopted by the countries which are having planned economic system where state control is very stronger, and then they are going to have fixation of their exchange rate as well in their international market to trade with other countries. So fixed exchange rate is usually adopted by the planned economic countries, or the countries where the state is having more control over international finance, so they can keep the value fixed. So in case of fixed exchange rate, we can say this is this is quantity of dollars, and here I am taking exchange rate in terms of, you can say, rupees. So this can be the exchange rate which is fixed, like $1 will be equivalent to 120 rupees suppose. So this is our fixed exchange rate in which we find the value is fixed. So at this exchange rate there is infinite supply of dollars with the government at that particular period of time. Like if there is going to be increase in demand of dollars in our market, then government will have massive dollar reserves to keep this value fixed. If there is massive supply of dollars available with the government of a country, then they can keep this value fixed. So fixed exchange rate is usually a very strong control over the exchange rate value by the government of a country. That's why they are keeping this value fixed. So there are some benefits as well, like whatever we are importing the goods, their prices will not be fluctuating in terms of local currency. That our domestic market will not be facing any type of price fluctuations due to changes in exchange rate. Anyhow, if prices are changed in international market, prices of the goods or the raw material which we are importing from other countries, if their prices have increased in their own market, then there can be change in our domestic market prices. Otherwise, there are no fluctuations of exchange rate which is going to have a stability in our raw material imports prices or finished goods import prices. There cannot be any fluctuation. But on the other hand, it can be a stable earning, it can raise a stable earning of the exporters as well. The exporters will be facing that their exchange rate stability will be determining them how much revenue they will be receiving after exporting the goods. But the thing is that when there is fixed exchange rate and cost of production of the exporters that has increased, and they want to have the devaluation of the currency, otherwise they will be reluctant to export more of the goods because their per unit cost of production has increased and the exchange rate is becoming a barrier for them to export. As this exchange rate is not covering their cost of production, they cannot increase the price in international market. So in that way, the fixed exchange rate will become a barrier for the exports. Then definitely this is not a good thing that our exchange rate is fixed and exporters want this exchange rate to be devalued or undervalued. Then exports will be rising. So when government is going to announce the new exchange rate like 125 rupees for each dollar, it is called devaluation of the exchange rate. Devaluation means when government itself is announcing that now the exchange rate will be 125 rupees instead of 120. This is by the discretion of the government, by the intention of the government that they are going to devalue the currency, and that will help increase the export volume by the exporters and decrease the import volume, as imports will have more prices in terms of local currency due to devaluation announced by the government. Anyhow, this exchange rate, the fixed exchange rate, is also having one restriction of the government, that there should be massive reserves available with the government in order to keep the value fixed. If the reserves are less available, there is less supply of reserves available, the foreign currency reserves are less available with the central bank of a country or with the government of a country, then this value cannot be kept fixed. It requires devaluation, or sometimes there is a massive reserve available, like in China they have more reserves of dollars. So they can keep the value fixed very easily, or they can even revalue their exchange rate because they are having massive reserves. Okay, so this is the case that this requires massive maintenance of foreign currency reserves in order to keep the fixed exchange rate regime in their government. So there can be the drawbacks of fixed exchange rate, but nowadays we can say, if a country is adopting fixed exchange rate, we say this is going to have a good exchange rate because it is not allowing the market forces to determine the value of foreign currency in international market of currencies. So now I'm going to give you illustration about free floating exchange rate. Free floating exchange rate. Free floating means where the value of foreign currency that will be determined by the market forces of demand and supply of that currency in international market. There is no government intervention, as this phenomena is showing us that market is responsible for the determination of the value of foreign currency. There is no government intervention, and it shows that this exchange rate will be adopted by free market economies. This is not adopted by the planned economies, because here market forces are freely determining the value of foreign currency in terms of local currency. So nowadays we see free floating exchange rate regime is saying that keep the value of foreign exchange to be determined by the market forces rather than keeping its value fixed. This is not a good thing, that your value need to be, your exchange rate value need to be more depreciated and you are keeping it at a lower level, and that will harm the other countries or to your country. So keep the value of foreign exchange fixed by, not fixed by the government, but it should be determined by the market forces or demand and supply. Now here I am going to take quantity of dollars, and this is exchange rate in terms of rupees. Do you know why dollar demand is downward sloping? Why dollar demand in our country or in any country, it is downward sloping? What is the reason behind? When exchange rate, suppose exchange rate moves up to 200 rupees per dollar, the importers, they will not be interested to import too many goods, because now in terms of local currency their import value will be rising as the foreign exchange rate value is 200. So the demand of dollar will be very less when its value moves up to 200 or more than 200 rupees per dollar. So less demand, actually demand of dollar in our country is determined by the importers or the persons who are taking their education abroad. Actually they are importing education, the services they are going to import it. So we say when this is the exchange rate, there is less demand of dollars, or when exchange rate value goes to suppose 90 rupees per dollar. So what is happening? Our currency is becoming stronger, so importers will be demanding more dollars in order to import more. Therefore, price of dollar in terms of rupees, it is having negative relationship with its demand. So demand of dollars, that is downward sloping. So as its price goes down or exchange rate goes down, there will be more demand of dollars, and as this price goes up, there will be less demand of dollars in our country in international market. Now let us see what is happening in the export market. This is our export market. Now this is the supply of dollar, which is upward sloping. Suppose now when exchange rate moves to 200 rupees per dollar, exporters are very much encouraged to export. So there will be more dollar inflow, they will be exporting too much, and supply of dollars to our market, that will be flowing in. And we are having more supply of dollars because our country is able to export more. Exporters are very happy that their returns in terms of local currency, that is increasing due to exchange rate depreciation. And now suppose if there is going to be 90 rupees for each dollar, below 100, so exporters will be discouraged, they are not going to export anything, then the supply of dollars in our country, that will be less and less. So if we make an equilibrium, now I am going to draw a demand and supply in single diagram. This is supply of dollars, which is upward sloping, and demand of dollars, which is downward sloping. So equilibrium point as we know, this is a stable point where two forces of demand and supply, they balance with each other. So in terms of dollars, we say this is the equilibrium exchange rate where 160 rupees for each dollar they are going to be exchanged, and we find this is the equilibrium level of dollar market where whatever dollars are demanded by the importers, they are equivalent to the supply of dollars by the exporters in our international market of import and export. So at equilibrium, we find the dollar demand and dollar supply that is balanced with each other, and we find this is equilibrium exchange rate. Now keep it in mind, now this exchange rate is totally freely determined by the market forces of demand and supply, and there is no government intervention. There is no government intervention in the determination. So the foreign exchange reserves, they will be automatically increasing and decreasing due to the changes in receipts and payments, balance of payment. So when our exports are going to rise, what is going to happen? We are going to have more dollar inflow, and more foreign exchange reserves will be increasing in our country. And if we are going to have more net imports, like imported goods are more demanded by our residents of our country, so definitely the supply of dollar will be going abroad. Instead, they are going to be demanded over here. So we are going to have this thing that if we increase the imports, so demand of dollars will increase in our import market. So what is happening? Our exchange rate will be increasing. Now we need to make more rupees in order to exchange a single dollar. Now when imports are rising, demand of dollars in our country, that will be rising, that will be making our currency weaker. Okay, and on the other hand, when we are able to have more exports, the foreigners, they are demanding more exports from us, so then supply of dollars will be inflowing, it will be increasing to our market. So what is going to happen? Now our currency will be appreciating, it will be now overvalued. So we see over here what is going to happen with the dollar market. Like when we are having increase in supply due to increase in exports, our currency will be appreciating. Less rupees will be required to exchange dollar. Whereas if we are having more imports, we are going to make more payments, then a demand of dollars will be rising by our residents to make more payments abroad. So as a result, our currency will be depreciating. Keep it in mind, I use the word devaluation and revaluation in case of fixed exchange rate, because this is a discretionary phenomena where government is announcing the devaluation and revaluation of the currency. Whereas I am using the word depreciation and appreciation of exchange rate in free floating market, because now government is not intervening, it is totally by the market forces of demand and supply. Either our currency exchange rate is depreciating or appreciating. When our exchange rate value increases, like we have to make more payments in terms of rupees to exchange dollars, then definitely our currency is becoming weaker, and we give it a name as depreciation. And when our currency appreciates, or the less rupees are required to exchange $1, then definitely our exchange rate is appreciating. Okay. And another important point is that this is a bilateral exchange rate. Bilateral means rupees are exchanged with dollars. If our currency is depreciating, dollar will be appreciating. They need to make less dollars in payment of our goods which are exported to them. Okay. So bilateral exchange rate means when the two countries' currencies, they are having bilateral exchange, one currency is appreciating, another is appreciating, and vice versa. So this is also called a bilateral exchange rate, which is going to have no government intervention. The reserves of this currency will be increasing due to increase in exports or international receipts of the country. Then we can find that we are going to have more increase in the foreign exchange reserves. Okay, that's about our free floating exchange rate. Now come towards Managed exchange rate, this is going to be the third one. Keep it in mind when we are having more imports in case of a free floating exchange rate that will be taking our foreign exchange reserves abroad. Okay, and our currency will be losing its value not only in international market but also in domestic market. There will be decrease in purchasing power of rupees that can be inflationary, and we can have increase in import raw material prices, which can be again increasing our imported inflation and due to cost push inflation. So now what the governments are thinking that they should manage the exchange rate rather than leaving it on the mercy of the market forces of demand and supply, that whatever market is determining the exchange rate, that is our exchange rate. So that can be unmerciful when a country is having balance of payment deficit and it is continuously rising, then definitely our currency will be becoming more depreciating against the foreign exchange, against foreign currencies. So the countries, they are intervening through central bank. Now they are managing their exchange rate. The managed exchange rate means what? This is managed exchange rate. I am taking rupees for your better understanding rather to take euro or pound sterling. So market exchange rate is that this is now 160 rupees for each dollar. This is our today's exchange rate. Now what government is doing? Central bank is asked to do the job of managing the exchange rate. So central bank what it does, it makes two limits. This is going to be the upper limit. Suppose they say this is 164 rupees per dollar. This is the upper limit. And they have 158 as a lower limit. Alright. Now this is our lower limit of exchange rate. 158, you can see this is in terms of rupees. Now this is our lower limit. So if demand of dollar is continuously increasing and it is crossing this upper limit, now it is going above 164. Importers are continuously importing the goods. Actually, these are the consumers who want to buy the imported goods. So that's why imports of the country, they are continuously rising. So when demand of dollars is continuously increasing and our exchange rate in market is going above 164, which is above the upper limit right now, what happens? The demand of dollars by the importers, that is increasing. So what is going to happen? Central bank starts selling dollars. Central bank will start increasing the supply of dollars in our market. So they start selling dollar. Central bank will become the seller of these dollars. They make different telephone calls to the money changers that what is the dollar rate? He says, no, it is 166. So, what can he say? A telephone call by the director of any of the central bank department, foreign exchange department, they ask that money changer, okay, if we are going to sell you at 164 or 163 or 160, will you be buying it? So definitely central bank is increasing the supply less than the 165 rupees per dollar, and then again exchange rate will be coming to the limit set by the central bank. Now it is again close to 160 rupees for each dollar. So if supply is continuously rising due to more exports in our market, our exporters are able to export more, and now the supply of dollars is continuously increasing and our exchange rate value goes below the lower limit, like it goes to 155 or any value below the lower limit. Now central bank will become the buyer of dollar in that market. It will start buying dollar at the exchange rate of 160 rupees for each dollar. So what happens, although central bank is managing the exchange rate value, but it is totally by using the market forces of demand and supply. It is intervening, no doubt, it is intervening, but through the market forces of demand and supply, they want to keep their exchange rate free floating within these two limits, not going beyond that, because if exchange rate is appreciating too much, then imports will be increasing and exports will be declining. And if it is depreciating too much, then our inelastic imports like fuel oil, cooking oil, which are being imported from other countries, so their prices in terms of local currency, they will be increasing, and then we can find imported inflation in our country, and our purchasing power of rupees, that will be declining. So managed exchange rate, basically managing the value of foreign exchange by using the market forces of demand and supply, the central bank intervention. When its value goes above the upper limit, central bank will become the seller of that currency, and when its value goes below the low limit, central bank start buying the same currency. So it is managing the exchange rate in the international market of dollar in our country, where money is going to be exchanged. So this is about our free floating exchange rate, fixed exchange rate, and managed exchange rate. Keep it in mind, the syllabus for your upcoming exams in January, that will be up till this topic. Only two things are left over. One is terms of trade. I did not complete it. That's a small topic, but it requires more studies as well. Until unless we cover this topic, then we can better understand terms of trade. And the three policies, fiscal, monetary, and supply side policies, that will take only 1 or 2 days to complete your syllabus. And JCAR. These are the topics which are left over. So keep it in mind, I will be making your midterm exam up till this topic. Only 2-3 topics which are left over, they will not be part of your final exam. Rather, you will be giving or taking the exam from the topics which are covered till today, that the exchange rate. Okay, so come up with better preparation in order to show a very good result in your mid-year exams, which are going to be held in January 2021. Thank you.